It is April 21, 2016, around 11 p.m. Angelica, dressed in dark clothes, corpulent, with a bowl cut, rings the doorbell at a house on Street B64. She says she had a car breakdown and asks if someone can call a taxi for her. In the background stands a hunched figure, wrapped in a blanket. Later, an ambulance arrives called by the torturer herself, Angelica. Around midnight, the ambulance arrives at the hospital. The emergency doctor is suspecting blood poisoning in the patient, Suzanne. The doctor notices many untreated injuries on her body, already rotting, making healing impossible. Some toenails are detached. Her entire body is covered with cuts, bruises, and binding marks. Her head is shaved bald. She has bed sores indicating the woman must have been lying in the same position for weeks. The doctors attempt to revive her, but without success. Annika, the first woman who did not survive the tortures, was chained because Wilfried was disturbed when she needed to go to the toilet at night. If the rattling of the chains annoyed him, Angelica would go to Annika and beat, insult, burn, and strangle her. Annika spent her last weeks of life lying face down in a bathtub in the basement, with her hands and feet tied behind her back, so tightly that the wounds bled and got infected, making her unable to walk, and until death seemed like a release to her, she tried to pull the knot around her neck and tried to escape once more, crawling on all fours. Angelica W. claimed she fell while trying to walk. It made a cracking sound when her head hit the ground in the yard. After she died, Angelica put Annika's body in the freezer, later sawed it apart, and burned it piece by piece in the oven. She smashed the bone remains and teeth in the ashes with a hammer. They are said to have scattered the ashes around the town. A woman who escaped the horrors from the couple reported that Angelica and Wilfried incited each other to increasingly cruel excesses. If they argued, she was the one who suffered. Wilfried would punch her in the face and Angelica would attack her with pepper spray. She was imprisoned with her head shaved, allowed to use only the cat toilet, and was chained half naked in the pigsty. At least 4 women were tortured here. Besides Annika, there was at least one other woman, Suzanne, who died after weeks of torture. Angelica repeatedly explained the strict rules of the house to her. Among other things, Wilfried demanded to look at him when speaking, and that she should not make a mess while eating, and she should not contradict him. Since Suzanne broke these rules due to her constant fear, Angelica eventually punished her. She pushed the woman, shaved her hair, or forced her to carry heavy bags pointlessly up the stairs. Wilfried later strangled the woman with both hands. Nearly 2 years after the tortures began, Angelica and Wilfried, aged 47 and 46 at the time, were arrested. Their house was searched and investigators secured evidence and documents. On October 5, 2018, the district court sentenced Angelica to 13 and Wilfried to 11 years in prison. The jury chamber, under the presiding judge Bernd Emminghaus, found the couple guilty of double murder and murder by omission. By the end of 2019, plans were